Hey, what's up, everyone? Factual Skiller here. And so I actually did not know anything about this video. It's actually a friend who pinged me into the server just a few minutes ago. And well, to be honest, I was mostly trying to rage bait MJ, but yeah, sure, I do have skills that Morrigan could beat CAS, even though Darky and Paragon might actually kick my ass, but don't worry, I got the pardon from him. So, okay, let's get into this. And also, just to clear things up from his title, he also called me like an anime scaler. I'm not an anime scaler. Like, I don't scale anime or stuff. I'm more of a, I guess you could say, manhwa and cartoon scaler, I guess. Yes, God of High School has a anime, but I don't scale the anime because, well, it's trash and it's way better to just scale the manhwa. So yeah, I'm more of a manga, manhwa, and cartoon scaling. I don't really fuck with anime scaling. So let's get into this, guys.
Factual scaler, I get it. So, the anime character with no pre-adaption beats the character with pre-adaption. The character who never
So basically, right here, he claims that Mori has no Mori has no pre-adaption, but I actually did prove to him that he didn't need pre-adaption because Nirvana is the embodiment or representation of being unbeatable. Thus, Cosmic Armor Superman cannot beat him. I also argued that Cosmic Armor Superman cannot comprehend him because Mori is incomprehensible, and I asked him to prove that if CAS could comprehend something incomprehensible on that level, and he never did actually, well, prove that. He also tried saying that what I said was fan fiction philosophy, which is cringe as fuck because, well, philosophy deals with the truth of existence and reality itself. And philosophy objectively exists in the world of God of High School. So I have no idea what he was trying to do here. And well, he never actually made a proper refutation to this point that I brought forward.
who never touched an author avatar beats the one who was shown directly above the author avatars.
So basically, he claims that Mori is not above author avatars, even though I did send him evidence of Mori Jin beating his author avatar, which was the pig, which was Park Youngji's author avatar, which and he asserts himself in the story plenty times in order to well inverse himself, and there were many instances where Mori actually beat him up, and there was actually an instance where Mirayu actually came out and cut him. So yeah, and his answer to that damning evidence was that it was fan fiction. I made up Mori beating up his author avatar within the verse for some reason. Like, bro, huh? Like I like it really doesn't even make any sense too because it says my interpretations and misleading exaggerations versus copy pasted facts from source material without changing without reinterpretation, and it's like I don't get it because um power scaling is about your interpretation and misleading exaggerations. Yeah, you have not proven that it's misleading exaggerations because you have not answered me in Discord. You've answered me consistently in YouTube comments. So yeah, and he also called it biased and fan fiction and wanked Nirvana, and I mislead readers by implying it was literal existence personified. I did not, by the way. Um, I actually I did not, by the way. I actually implied that Nirvana transcends the verse because that is literally what is said, that you can control existence in Nirvana and all of creation, all universes and creation itself within Nirvana. And he also said that Nirvana in that series isn't anywhere near the religion's version, and neither are the sum of all existence in fictional space and outside of it combined. except for the fact that you did not prove that. You did not send me any evidence. That was just like a refutation, bro. That didn't even have any kind of substance. You did not send me any evidence that it wasn't near our actual Nirvana or anything like that.
Anime character who has no feats and statements of existing outside of fictional space will beat the one who actually does.
So once again, this dude could lie so badly. This bitch, bro. So I did in fact send him evidence of Mori being able to be above like fictional species and thing. And to be honest, being above fictional species is the most dumbest thing ever. But it's like whatever. It's an argument, so it's honestly whatever. So I did show him this because this was his original claims to me, was to show me a map of Jin existing outside his own franchise and above Marvel and DC, as well as demonstrating ability to destroy all container of container of all existence, and to be above author in all fictional species. Right. So I did that in the form of here, where I sent him evidence of him being above the author after. By the way, this image here, he actually made a recent comment on my posts about this, so that will be important later. So yeah, I sent him evidence of him being above. I also sent him evidence about him being above fictional species because of the fact that Mori could grab manhwa panels in heaven. These are manhwa panels here from the story itself. So yeah, this automatically makes him outside his fictional space because he's in a realm that exists beyond his manhwa, where he's literally grabbing his panels, his manhwa panels. Okay? And he also asked me to prove that Mori was above Marvel and DC, and that he could control existence. Yeah, right here. And then right here we see that Marvel and DC exist as fiction within God of High School. Now I know this means that I know this don't automatically means, oh, he's above DC, he's above Marvel or whatever. But when you argue it, you need permission from the actual owner in order to even reference like things, because that's how copyright laws work. You need permission to advertise, or just like even subtle reference stuff like that. Therefore, young Park Young-ji would have had to go to Marvel and DC in order to get permission in order to use those copyrights in his light novel.
Who doesn't embody all of existence will beat the one who is all existence. Confirmed repeatedly over and over and over. Who am I? You learn this in school, apparently. You're way beyond me. I certainly don't have roughly, 2 decades, 22 years of debating in college against people who are pro level. I don't have any of that. You learned all this in school, so I stood absolutely no chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh my god, this lying son of a bitch, bro. Oh my god. Alright. So alright, this fucking dumbass, bro. Alright. So he says that Mori does not embody existence. Okay, fine. First of all, he never actually asked me to prove that. Second of all, this was his original claims right here. These were his original claims, and none of these he asked me to prove if Mori embodied existence or whatever. First of all, okay, fine. Second of all, you admit that Cosmic Armor Superman embodies existence, right? Good. Now look at this. As I said before, this so-called paradise is a place where those who reach Nirvana are capable of ruling over all universes and all of creation. What is creation? Existence. That means dog, bro. This fucking dumbass, bro. This fucking dumbass admitted that Maury could control cosmic armor Superman via heaven. That's crazy. Because he's existence and Maury could control existence via heaven. What a fucking imbecile. What a fucking dumbass, bro. This fucking retard. And then on top of that, I sent him evidence right here that Nirvana transcends existence. The American Theravada monk Bhikkhu Bodhi has defended the tradition Theravada view, which sees Nirvana as a reality transcendent to the entire world of mundane experience, a reality transcendent to all the realms of phenomenal existence. This fucking idiot, bro. And the thing about it is, this liar, this fucking liar, says that he has 22 years, 2 decades of experience debating, right? This fucking liar. He lost to me already, actually. Hold on, let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. He actually lost to me already a few months ago. Was it a few months ago? A year ago, right? I debated him on Cosmic Armor Superman in his own server. Okay, and I actually won because, well, he didn't actually have any refutations to my video. You guys can check that out. I'll put a link in the description. But whatever. He also, okay, so he claims that he's been debating for 2 decades. This fucking liar. Okay. So he claims he's been debating people in college, debating people for 10, 20 years. First of all, the amount of debating experience you have, or the debating length, or how long you have been dating is completely irrelevant to skill set, really, especially when you're this ass. So basically, I asked him, where is the judge? Because you need a judge in order to fairly represent a debating trial. Because if he had actually gone to college and debated, you would know that this is literally a common rule in debating, that debating needs judges in order to rule in favor of what. I actually have a debating club in my school. I was unable to join, unfortunately, because it's disbanded, but we did actually learn debating in English, because the English teacher actually did run with the debate club, and we learned about debating and the basic rules of debating. And it's that there is a judge that regulates the debate to see if it goes fairly. So yes, you do need a judge in a debate. Otherwise, it's an informal. A Hegelian dialectic needs a judge. Okay? And then I argue that makes no sense, because we are debating. We need one, and preferably one of yours and one of mine, because I gave him the option in order to have 2 judges present, one that represents him and one that represents me, which I feel was fair. And then he just simply, because I didn't want a back and forth, because if we just debating in just like with historic, okay, it's just a mindless back and forth that goes absolutely nowhere. And he said there are none. Yeah, okay. So basically, he says that's a concession. And that is not a concession, by the way. That is literally a needed requirement to have a debate. You can look that up anywhere. In fact, okay, hold on. I actually pulled up the evidence right now. Right, so as you see here, a debate is a process that involves formal discourse, discussion, and oral addresses and on a particular collection of topics, often with a moderator and an audience. A debate argument are put forward for opposing viewpoints. Okay, so that proves that you need a moderator, or well, a judge, and possibly an audience if you wish for a debate. You know, I don't think an audience is needed, but I think it's in my opinion it's needed for like witnesses, but it's not actually 100% needed. And then a debate, a discussion moderator or debate moderator is a person whose role acts as a neutral participant in a debate or discussion that holds the participants to a time limit. Well, a time limit is not actually needed. It's frictional debates, but you know, you get it. And tries to keep them from straying from the topic and the race debates. But well, it's inevitable in fictional debates that they stray from the topic because well, it has multiple things you have to go through. So yes, some of the rules in actual fictional debates and online debates is flexible. But yeah, this dumbass actually proved that he has no actual good debating skills because on top of that, we didn't even establish prerequisites, and then he says there are none. When did you learn how to debate? Where did you learn how to debate and talk to people? This idiot, this absolute idiot. Because okay, so basically you need a shared foundation to prove that, and a shared foundation nothing could be proven. If two people don't agree on basic terms, definition, or rules, then every argument could collapse. If I say a person says someone is multiversal, that means two universes, and the other means infinite layers. They are literally not debating the same thing. No conclusion is possible. Okay, and prerequisites also prevent moving goalposts. A debate without established conditions lets someone constantly shift their stance mid-argument, which is exactly what MJ was doing this entire time. The fucking fraud. Okay? A prerequisite locks the playing field so no one side can't magically change positions once they start losing. They ensure both sides are arguing the same topic and don't strawman. If you don't clarify rules and logic interpretations and stuff like that, or what counts as valid evidence, there is just back and forth. Both sides will just argue against version of the argument the other person never made. Prerequisites force people to confirm that yes, this is the claim that we debating. Okay? Most bad debates happen because one debate smuggled in assumptions the other never accepted. Prerequisites expose those assumptions early so they can confirm or reject before the debate begins. So these are necessary things, and then they let out all the contradictions. When everyone agrees on the framework ahead of time, you can actually show when somebody violates them because well, you agreed to prerequisites. And I think this is why MJ is either like retardedly clueless about prerequisites, or he just doesn't want prerequisites in order to hold him back from cheating. Okay? If there are no prerequisites, you can't call out contradictions because nothing was agreed on. And then prerequisites also is keep debates from turning into headcanon. So prerequisites force evidence to fit within accepted standards of well, I think, or my interpretation is, and this would probably stuff like that. Now, I mean, technically, yes, power scaling is about interpretation, but at the same time, you are objectively arguing. You are arguing that this objectively means so and XYZ. Okay, you are arguing that this objectively, from your standpoint, in the dialectic, means XYZ, and it also prevents bias retrofitting, which people tend to favor rule the benefit of characters or sides. Prerequisites making both participants accept the rules before choosing the argument. So basically, TLDR is basically, well, it needs structure. Prerequisites establish structure, and so that people, the debaters, won't try scummy shit. Okay, which is exactly what this motherfucker did. Exactly what this fucking fraud did.
All this from my glorious King Morihjin to Solo the Cosmic Armor, tragic, sad face emoji, peace sign. To which I replied, Jin wishes, which opened Pandora's box, and boy do I regret it, because this was one of the worst and most easily won debates that I've ever experienced in my whole life, because it's clear that
stop the cap.
anybody who argues the Cosmic Armor, or anybody who argues against it, has no idea what they're talking about, and they're literally spitting up vomit in this debate just to have some kind of debate credit or to look cool to their friends.
Alright, I'm gonna be the first one to admit that this started off as rage bait. Like this generally was me just rage beating, because well, again, I actually have arguments that Jin Mori could beat Cosmic Armor Superman, but again, this started off as rage bait. So I was just trying to rage bait him, which was successful, by the way. And I was actually trying to rage bait him into a debate, which again was successful, and I won. And not the first time I won either, but okay. And then he goes on to say he won, yet first of all, he did not win. He had to literally cut me off multiple times because I was trying to argue prerequisites and actually like discuss some actual substantial things before we actually get into debating, which was not even arguing. This was not even our topic. We were arguing. I don't know why he called it. Like, I'm not arguing this topic if we don't have any real data provided. First of all, everybody has to go through like what is agreed upon for the debate. Again, prerequisites are needed. So yeah, this fraud just like lied and say that he won and he is the easiest debate, but okay. And then he wants to lie and say that he had decades worth of experience. So yeah, this generally started off as rage bait, and then it turned into, well, me kicking his ass.
Trope. So I'm gonna make up some nonsense and I'm gonna argue this because I learned this in school, which is something Factual Scalar said in our little private discussion about this, which was very, very short, because he tried to argue that this anime character from this really good anime, I really like this, Mori Jin's pretty cool, and he's a really interesting character, and I think he would beat a lot of the other anime scaled characters out there, but against the summary of all of existence, bro, where did you get this from? Why do you want to argue something?
I find it so hilariously insane that he keeps bringing up the summary of all existence when I literally sent him a scan of Mori being able to control fucking existence and be above existence. Literally right here, and right here. And then prove that he was above Marvel and DC. And I think I have one as well that I didn't send, so it's not really important, but still for the sake of argument. Yeah, right here. Nirvana is beyond all terms of duality and relativity. It is therefore beyond all conceptions of good and evil, right and wrong, existence and non-existence.
That you've never read before. That's my question to you if you ever see this. I want to know, why do you want to argue the cosmic armor if you've never read Final Crisis? You clearly don't read comics.
So he claims that I haven't read comics. Okay. So I don't read a lot of comics, but I do read comics. I also spend a lot of time scaling comics with my boy Paragon. If you don't know who that is, that's I forgot his old name, but yeah, I spent a lot of time with Paragon and Daki. Oh yeah, that's Supreme. Yeah, his name Supreme. He used to be a Goku scaler, but yeah, I spent a lot of time scaling DC, Marvel, stuff like that with Paragon. So yes, I do know Marvel comics. I even know a lot of other obscure characters from DC and Marvel, such as Forget Me Not and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm completely clueless on that stuff. I also decently read across different cosmology scales and stuff like that. I actually have a lot of friends who scale DC and Marvel. So yeah, I do know like comic scaling and stuff. So yeah, I do. If I didn't, it doesn't really matter, because well, if you are on the negative side of things and you are refuting something, then all it does is just take like minimum debate skills or anything like that. Even if you don't personally know the verse, you are taking what the arguer gives you and you are refuting it. So even if I knew jack shit about DC, okay, even if like let's say I knew nothing about DC, it's not about your knowledge of the verse, it's how well you can argue against the scans that you are given, and you can well debunk it. It doesn't matter if you knew a damn about the verse or not. It's just purely based on your debating skill.
Never read the guidebooks and you didn't look into any of the author statements or do any investigation to figure out what this was, what it's based on in the religion, what it's based on in the hierarchy that Grant gave us, or the recent AMA that Grant gave us on Reddit. You didn't read into any of that, but you still wanted to debate the cosmic armor like you had any hope of winning this. Nobody but you seems to think that Mori Jin would outscale the cosmic armor.
Again, you're saying this as if I inherently needed knowledge to know all this in order to win. No, I did not. First of all, you never even presented any of that evidence to me at all. You are now presenting evidence in this video. You did not present it to me in Discord at all. Like, come on, bro. Like, hold on. He actually never replied to me. Monitor Michael. Yeah, as you can see here, never got a single reply from him. After I sent his scans, he replied in the YouTube comment section, which you know would not be coherent, or well, not really coherent. Promising for fictional debating, because you can't send scans or anything, and if you send links, then YouTube shadow hides it. So I don't know what he talking about. Oh, I didn't do any research or anything. Dog, it's not my burden to do research. That's what burden of proof is. Burden of proof means the person who claims the positive have to assert it, have to justify it in order for it to be objectively true, or in order for it to be a fact. Okay? So don't come and tell me that I didn't do my research or anything when it's not even my burden to do the research. I did not need to do the research or anything. You were the one who did the research, and you were the one who have the obligation to share such evidence with me.
So what is the cosmic armor Superman? The cosmic armor Superman is all of existence embodied. Let's go down the list, and we'll start at the top. All of existence embodied is story, anything with data, anything that is a thing. It's in the guidebooks, it's confirmed by multiple authors, it is confirmed by the original author, and it's in the original source material. So Mori Jin is not all of existence embodied, so he lost right there. The energy level...
Okay, I'll give you one fact. The fact is that you're right. He's not the embodiment of existence. He is above existence, and he can control existence. Like I said earlier, which you elected to ignore, that heaven could control all of creation, existence. Okay, and then nirvana, once again, a reality transcendent to the entire world of mundane experience, a reality transcendent to all realms of phenomenal existence. And transcend qualities means superior qualities, special and distinct from mundane qualities, reaching a world above and beyond all worlds, destined to go only higher and higher. You never return to anything low. Bro, like what the fuck? You just ignored all of my evidence. That is crazy. Oh yeah, I actually did send you. Yeah, I did send you that nirvana is above existence and non-existence. I now seen here. I thought I didn't send it to you. Okay. That's my bad. Oh well, not really my bad, just that I forgot I sent it to you. And the thing about it is that I gave you evidence that DC and Marvel exists as fiction within God of High School, and you just blew that off. You just didn't acknowledge that at all. And you say it's crazy that you want to talk about how I didn't do any research or anything. That you also claim that you watched God of High School, yet you obviously don't know anything about it, and it's clear that you only watched the anime, and by your own admission, the anime was great and thing, but you never read the manhwa. That's what I'm getting out of this. You never read the manhwa, because if you read the manhwa, you should know that there are plenty of chapters that the anime skipped out, and it also changed a lot of outcomes that was from the original manhwa. And it's just disappointing because, again, you're hypocritical. You call me a liar, but you are lying as well, because you've never read God of High School.
the scalings involved in this, right there on the first one, are over. You lost. So number 2, does Mori Jin have pre-adaption to anything before it's a threat, let alone a demonstrated feat of it against the ultimate evil from outside of fictional space?
Nope.
No, Mori Jin doesn't have that, but the cosmic armor does. So you lost again because you didn't look into this and you still wanted to debate this with me. Now, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like this. It's just something that has happened to me over the last 11 years of me talking about the cosmic armor Superman. Literally everybody who argues against me has no clue what they're talking about.
And once again, I will say, I already showed you and argued that Mori did not need pre-adaptation because he's the embodiment of unbeatable. Whether or not Cosmic Armor Superman countered him or whatever, he would just copy his adaptation or whatever and then counter him back. And there's also the fact that Mori has been shown to be able to make stuff up on the fly. And once again, I also argued that Mori is beyond comprehension, and therefore Cosmic Armor Superman cannot comprehend him. I asked you if you can show me a scan of Cosmic Armor Superman comprehending something that is incomprehensible, and said if not, then Mori is incomprehensible to Cosmic Armor Superman, thus not being able to perceive him. And since he can't perceive him, that means he can't adapt to the threat. You once again elected to ignore this evidence. And, well, I don't know what to tell you, dude, because I also told you that 6-6 Satan reactive copying whatever Cosmic Armor Superman and Mori could copy it too. That's what I said. And you did not have any type of refutation. You just called it wank, you just called it lies, you just called it fan fiction, philosophy, and that was it. And then I also argued, let's see here. Oh yeah, I argued that borrow power is higher concepts and so forth. Yep. Alright. So he's telling me that I lost because Mori didn't have pre-adaptation, which I already told you that he doesn't need pre-adaptation. And I don't lose because of that. I could just, like, you're basing this off of because this character does not have what this character has, that means he loses by proxy. But you have to understand too that this character could have something that could still work with for him in order to beat X character. So okay, X character has fire manipulation. The other character may not have fire manipulation, but he has wind manipulation. He could blow out the flames. That's what it is. Like, you're just basing this off of hacks alone. And yeah, okay, so maybe Cosmic Armor Superman does not follow any no limit fallacy or fallacy of any and all, but at the same time, so doesn't 666 Satan. So his copying does not fall under no limits fallacy or any fallacy of any and all.
They just want to debate win. They don't care. They don't care about what the other side's facts are. And this person, the factual scaler, who decided to stroke his ego and put this in his name, he's the factual scaler. He talks about facts all the time. So surely all of his replies about the cosmic armor and Mori Jin will be factual, right? Because that's in his name. Of course not. That's not how it goes. It's the complete opposite. He takes his interpretation.
Going after my choice of names is insane because, okay, first of all, nobody tells 100% truth, even me, because, well, not that I lie, but it's just that, again, scaling is up to interpretation. So I could scale a character lower or higher than what it actually is, but at the same time, it's also subjective. So it's just like when you are debating, you are arguing whether your argument is objective within the dialectic itself, but scaling itself is a subjective matter. So do I always tell facts? Probably not, because at the same time, again, interpretations. But I try to argue or scale as accurately as possible. Like, once again, I wouldn't say I was ratting against this guy Michael, but it's just like I was just doing what I do best and do use my best arguments against him. I wouldn't really call it ratting because I do have legitimate arguments on Nirvana and these kind of arguments that I did pull. And as you can see that it had the scans to back it up. I mean, if you want to interpret it as wank, sure, but like at the same time, it's there. It's physically there. Well, not physically, but you know what I mean. Like I have the actual evidence to prove what I am saying is factual or objective or correct. But at the same time, again, things could be subjective. So what I say could be wrong, could be right, could be factual, could not be factual. Everything like that could be cap, could be whatever. Because like I said, interpretations matter and everything is up to interpretations in scaling. So okay. So alright, so Yorichi transcends nature or in Demon Slayer. He transcends logic and nature. Somebody could interpret that as transcending actual logic and nature itself, making out of it or whatever. Or it's just an exaggeration, a hyperbole. Like I said, it's in debating, it's completely dependent on the arguer. So yeah, whether I tell facts or not is not up to you or to me. Even then, it's up to who argues better than each other. So especially in a debate dialectics. So even if whatever I say is wank or stuff like that, you still lost.
Of all of these feats and facts for Morihjin, and he wanks it to outer versal levels. Because that's how debating goes. We don't care about facts. I'm gonna crash out, dude. I don't care what the facts are. I'm gonna just say it's hilarious that you even replied to me about Cosmic Armor Superman defeating Morihjin. That's hilarious to me. This is what he said to me, by the way, in our comic books. It's hilarious. I can't believe it. Ha ha. I'm laughing. I'm crashing out as I'm making up literal false statements to try to argue with you. By the way, I think this is
Once again, you claim it's wank, but then show no actual evidence as to why it's wank or justify, or even if you didn't show any evidence, you didn't justify why it's wank or anything like that. You didn't even like really debunk it because, as the comments from earlier, you just said that it's fan fiction philosophy. I'm wanking. Da da da. You just called it a bunch of names and denied its relevance or objectivity within the dialectic, and you think that automatically dismisses anything. No, that doesn't, and that's called argument from pig-headedness and the appeal to ignorance, fallacy, and appeal to stone, because you are not even proving that it's wrong, you're just denying that it's correct, and that doesn't dismiss my argument at all. If anything, it kind of proves I'm right, because you don't actually, in the dialectic, show me the flaws of the argument, the fallacies of the argument. I think I'm using that right, but I digress.
on his last debate of all time, because he posted that I'm yapping. When I gave all of these facts and feats to him, he said he didn't understand any of it and said I'm just yapping. So when I posted the guidebook and the original source material, his reply was, "Why are you yapping?" But his response to me was literally to make up stuff about his side of the debate. Morihjin, I'm just gonna make up stuff, but that's not yapping. The factual scaler surely wouldn't ever yap about that stuff. So he says later that Morihjin definitely beat the author Avatar, man. He definitely beat the author Avatar. So that automatically beats the Cosmic Armor Superman. Listen, in this series, the character that he beat is nowhere near the actual author Avatar of the entire series, which in DC is the writer who exists in limbo, which is outside of the complete narrative of DC Comics. And all of the infinite timelines, all the infinite characters, if you combine them all, they would still be nothing compared to the author Avatar, who controls the entire narrative of the series. That's the writer Grant Morrison's Avatar in the series Animal Man issue 26. Mori Jin never fought anything like this. Mori Jin never fought anything from outside of the narrative, the literal meta-narrative of the context of his anime. The cosmic armor was literally shown in one of the most famous images to be outside of that and above it and poking it like it's a little smudge. So my boy here, the factual scaler, is literally just making up his own facts and then reinterpreting his own facts and wanking and exaggerating them to be something that it's not. This is what all of the anti-cosmic armor crowd has done to me for the last 11 years.
Basically, dude claimed that I said I was yapping, that he was yapping because I didn't understand. First of all, I did understand his argument. I just said that he was yapping. That's all. And I argued in the comment section itself for the dialectic. Just because I said what is bro yapping about doesn't mean that I don't understand. I do understand. I just thought you was talking shit, and you are talking shit, like absolute dog shit. And on top of that, you say that Mori has never beaten his author avatar on that level because you never asked me to actually prove that it was on that level. You asked me, and I have it right here, to show that that he's able to beat the author avatar and exists outside fictional space. Oh well, above the authors of all fictional spaces. That's what you asked me to do. You did not ask me to prove that he was above a certain power level of those authors within DC. And it's not that I actually, disagreed with anything, because you didn't even send me evidence of these things being factual. You just stated it was, and what was I supposed to do? Just take your word for it? I mean, yeah, sure, even if I knew about it, that doesn't mean I would still take your word for it, because of the fact that you did not show me that this is actually what happened. And once again, when I said that what is brutal blood yapping about, I was talking about the fact that you were trying to dismiss my arguments and you were talking shit. That's what I meant. So anyway, guys, that's it for the video. As you can see, Monitor Michael is a liar and a fraud and a scam. Well, okay, scam is pushing it, but the fact of the matter is that he fabricated this win, and he claimed that I didn't prove this, I didn't prove that, I didn't do anything. No, it's because he refused to believe the evidence that I sent, and then just called it wank and evidence, and that he never did it, even though I sent him the evidence that he did. So guys, hopefully this shed some truth and stuff on this, and I actually have a proposition for Mr. Michael. We can debate again, and this time we'll actually debate properly. So when we debate, if we debate, then we can debate in a neutral server where I have no permissions, or I barely know someone, or you barely know someone, as to make it fair. And we can have judge as well. Obviously the judge cannot be mutuals of ours or be our friend or wasn't our friend and our past to avoid bias. And we'll do this in our public server. No group chat bullshit. Okay, so we can either do this in Killua or versus battle debates. These two are very active servers, over almost 7,000 members on versus battle debates, and you can bring all their dick riders too. You can bring all their goons and everything, because those comment sections were stuffing their mouths with Michael's dick, bro. I swear. So yeah, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the facts. As always, be safe.